Because two can keep a secret if one of them is dead. And in this case, y'all, not only one, but two are apparently bopped by the end of this episode. Welcome back to my channel, y'all. This is Stretcher the Slayer, and before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, y'all, today we're reacting to, wait for it, the season finale of Pretty Little Liars Summer School. And y'all, without further ado, let's get into it, because it was a chaotic yet consistent ride. Now, the episode starts out with, obviously, the events of episode 7 of last week when Bloody Rose lame ass forced Farron into a dilemma to choose between saving Kelly or fighting her head on. Obviously, Farron decides to save Kelly immediately, and as she jumps in and saves Kelly and resuscitates her, Bloody Rose's limp body ass just limps away, and, you know, shockingly doesn't put up a fight. I'm like, okay, what was that about? Well, you did all that slicing, like you big and bad, all bark with no bite ass, and just gonna walk away without a fight? Fishy. But anyways, we move past that. As she resuscitates Kelly, then her and the girls go to the locker room, and then Imogen asks Kelly, like, okay, look, do you think your mom could be Bloody Rose? Because what the hell was that? And then she was like, no, she can't be. I locked her in our Carrie's closet, which is their prayers closet, like, we know that. And to confirm her suspicions, they quickly go to Kelly's house to make sure Mrs. Beasley's still locked in the Carrie closet. And luckily, she's still banging on her door like, Kelly Beasley, if you don't let me out this instant, I want to make sure you wish you'd never been born. You know, that whole ordeal. And as they visibly relax that she's not Bloody Rose, the girls then start to leave, but Farron lingers a bit, and Kelly, you know, thanks her graciously, like, thank you for saving my life, and I'm sorry that I was such a bad friend. And then they hug it out, and y'all, this was such a nice, warming moment, even though Kelly is still gonna take some time to heal from that, but you got your reality check, so thankfully you still breathing. Now, we then move to Mouse filling in the girls about Rose popping up at her house, catching it up, and, you know, having tea with the Lulu. And Lola's just like, oh yeah, this is my old friend Rose. And then Rose basically confronts Mouse like, thanks to you, now I'm not safe. You and the girls exposed my location. Now Archie might be coming after me. And then the girls are just all confused, like, okay, why is she popping up at your house? But that was weird. And they continue to add her to their list. And they also ask, okay, so did you leave her there with your Nana and everything? And they're like, oh no, I didn't leave her there with the Lulu. I took her to the old train car station where Crazy Joe used to live, which was the Looney from season 1. And it was like, you really took her there? Like, well, okay. Then they go confirm whether she's there still. And then y'all, why the hell they get to the train car station and there's nothing but rose petals on the bed? I'm like, now Rose Waters done got caught up by Bloody Rose. Now we're gonna have to see how that plays out. Then they quickly learn that Bloody Rose is targeting mothers of the survivors, so they quickly go check up on Sydney, and they all rush to her house, and then Sydney just looks back at them like, what's going on? And then, well, Tabby looking at her like, Mom, where's your phone at? And then she's like, oh, it's on the charger. I'm just like, just oblivious as hell. Like, girl, you got snatched up by Archikins last season during Christmas preparation, and you still haven't learned, girl? I was like, now come on, Sydney. You got the name Sydney. Like, let's use it properly. Now, after that, Tabby glances over the shelf and sees that Bloody Rose left a bouquet of flowers for Sydney, and she instantly knows, as fear consumes her, that now she's been marked and she's going to be a potential target. Now the girls confide and theorize in Tabby's room, and then they strategize on how they're going to keep their mother safe and everyone around them safe, including themselves. And they just decide to stay alert like they've been doing this whole season and keep their head on a swivel. So, next day rolls around, and then Sydney calls Imogen and Tabby downstairs, like, y'all come look at this news. And y'all, allegedly, Archikins, he got bopped in Rosewood's penitentiary, allegedly during a prison scuffle, as some prisoners allegedly escaped. And Tabby and Imogen look at each other in confusion, like, is this really true? Like, are we finally free of him and everything? And you could tell they're still apprehensive about that, which I would be too, because you never know what to believe, like, especially, and if we're talking about slashers here, like, obviously he could affect his death, you know, or he is for sure dead and everything, so we don't know. Guess we'll have to see. And Tabby and Imogen then go to Mrs. Langsbury to confirm their suspicions about her being a potential Bloody Rose. And then they go there, and then y'all, she's surprisingly calm, and she obviously heard the news that Archikins was bopped in the penitentiary, and she's like, oh good, he's like frying in hell and paying for the crime he committed against my son, and now we can all be at ease and at peace. And then they just give her apprehensive looks, but Imogen's still being persistent on like, are you sure you not feeling any more ill will against us? And she's just putting on, still, you know, being her usual cookie cutter mom self. So as we see her do that little lifetime thing, Tabby glances over and sees a wall of roses on her wall, and she tells Imogen, like, okay, yeah, we should get the hell out of here. And yeah, they quickly get out. And then we see Jen and Noah discussing possible suspects as well. And Jen just brings up the fact, which was actually a logical fact, like, okay, y'all considering all these women suspects, but have y'all considered any male suspects, like these new boyfriends that just came out of nowhere? I was like, right, because Christian is still on my suspect list, and Johnny looking like allegedly Dr. Sullivan's son, so we should see about that. And this obviously makes Noah think, like, oh yeah, I'll bring this up to the girls then. So they all meet up to school to continue to discuss possible suspects. And then as they continue to discuss the possible suspects, Principal Smithy interrupts them, like, look, y'all to do so hot on y'all final exams and everything, so y'all need to retake them. And I'm giving you an extension, so take the sign of study and basically get y'all shit together. And they're all pissed about that and fuming, and we all learned that obviously Jen passed, so Noah just says that Jen will end up tutoring them, and then they arrange a little study schedule for that, while trying to make sure they live to even take the exam. Now, this thing was funny, so they get to a spat about accusing Christian and Johnny, and then Noah brings up, well, what about Henry Farron? Like, he's been MIA ever since you dumped him. And then Farron's like, well, Jen does have a criminal history. Then they just all started getting into it, and Mouse, she was just good. She was like, well, my Ash is at home safe and sound, and he's not insane and everything. So it was like, oh, it must be nice having the same boyfriend. She was like, yeah, it actually really is. I was like, she gagged him with that. I guess she said Ash ain't no Looney Tune. He ain't no Billy Loomis. I was like, I know that's right, Mouse claim him. But then as they continue to spat about that, and like you can barely hear anything, Tabby just snaps like, okay, enough. We need to focus on a bigger picture right here, which is obviously we still have some suspects to consider. So given if our boyfriends are, you know, Bloody Rose, we just have to investigate and deal with this head on. So they all decided about that. And they was like, okay, fine, we'll stand on that, whatever. Then Tabby goes home to prepare and investigate Christian more, and then she calls the AMC Theater in New York, which Christian said he worked at, to talk to the manager and ask if Christian ever worked there. And he's like, no, I haven't had a Christian appeal by the tip of my tongue that I could remember working here and everything. So that instantly has her hair standing on end, like, okay, is this man lying about who he is? So she decides to go to his place and then investigate his basement and everything. Then we see Imogen at the creamery interrogating poor Johnny, asking him for his phone and everything, as she goes through his phone to see if he's on the Spooky Spaghetti, pretending to be someone that he's not and everything. And then he's like, okay, what is all this animosity coming from and everything? And she just covers up, like, you know, just being careful and everything, you know. And he's like, okay, can we go back to work? I was like, oh, poor Johnny. We see Mouse Continuing her search on Spooky Spaghetti, and then we see some clips of Bloody Rose's first bop sessions when she bopped Nick and Sabrina in her cabin, and then we seen her finish Sandy in front of her car. So as Mouse like gasps and shot like, oh no, she did bop them, and the blood reckoning flashes across the screen if it has officially begun, and she has to hurry up and go over and tell the girls like, okay, now the reckoning has started, so now we got to be ready to fight. I was like, right, at this point, this is the point of the episode, y'all, now all hell starts to break loose and everything. And Imogen, y'all, at the creamery, just going to refill some ice cream or whatever. Then she moves one of the ice cream tubs and sees like the 3 bodies that Bloody Rose has finished off and everything, all frozen. And then she like just reacts in horror and terror, and then just jumps to the worst conclusion ever. She instantly like goes into defense mode and grabs a big ass wrench and points to Johnny like, okay, you stay the hell here and don't come anywhere near me, or I'm gonna fuck you up with this wrench. And he's like trying to calm her down, like, look, I think you got the wrong idea. I am not no killer. You just need to chill. You're jumping to conclusions. I'm like, yeah, girl, you just jumped to conclusions, but then I can see where you're coming from, given all the hell you went through last season. Because, y'all, what Archkins put her through, like, oh, that was just an ordeal. And, y'all, he tries to plead with her and calm her down. She's like, no, you stay right there. She's swinging the wrench back for, like, if you come within 50 feet of me, I'm swinging. And, y'all, she swung that wrench and clocked him right across the forehead. Just knocked the poor Johnny loose. Like, I was like, oh, Johnny the hottie. He collapsed to the ground. And, y'all, why the hell... She drags him to the ice cream freezer and locks him in there. I guess she said, okay, if you don't be the killer, you'd be safe and sound. And I was like, nah, Imogen. You know you could have locked him in a break room and said so he didn't have to freeze to death. And you know he gonna have some animosity about that. If he is the killer. So, y'all, we speed past that. And we see Tabby investigating Christian's basement looking for, you know, potential A mask and Bloody Rose mask, and so like she did the first time. And y'all, why the hell she opens his drawer and we see Imogen's mom's face mask that was used during her final girl test in episode 6. And then Tabby just shakes her head in disdain and scolds herself for trusting him and quoting Scream, like saying it's always the boyfriends. I gotta always watch the cute ones. Miss Prescott did show us that. Always keep an eye on the cute ones. Like, you don't know what's going on upstairs. And as she prepares to go upstairs and show the girls the mask and everything, y'all, she's jump scared by Bloody Rose, who comes out just like swinging a knife. And then this catches Tabby off guard as she trips and falls down the stairs screaming in terror. And then just instantly gets knocked out from the blow of hitting the last step. I was like, damn, Tabby. I was like, have to be more alert, girl. But we move past that. Mouse learns that the main servers are located at the Orpheum thanks to her computer science teacher. And then she hurried up and informs the girls that the servers are there at the Orpheum. And then they hurry up and go confront Christian at the Orpheum. Then we see Tabby waking up in a confessional booth. Obviously, we know what church booth it would be. Obviously, our Mother of Holy Grace. And she looks around and sees like graffiti saying confess your sins, and she just latched into confined space. And then, y'all, she looked beside her in the other confessional booth, and y'all, while we see a bopped Rose Waters, eyes gouged out, just consumed with blood, lifeless, and she just screams in shock and gasps like, oh no, like, they done got Rose Waters. I was like, and here I thought she was Bloody Rose. I'm like, okay, if it ain't Bloody Rose Waters in terms of Archiekin's mom, then who the hell is Bloody Rose then? So panic starts to consume Tabby as she bangs and on the door and calls for help, but then she decides to like kick the door down, elbow it, and she kicks it down and then collapses on the floor. Then we get back to the Orpheum where the girls are confronting Christian like, okay, what the hell did you do with Tabby? And he's like, what are you talking about? I've been here by myself and the AC is down and everything. And then they all go to the control room and then find a test that Bloody Rose left, saying like, y'all come to the screening room 3 and basically see what's going on and everything. And they go to the screening room and they see Tabby being streamed live at Mother of Holy Grace, and we see Bloody Rose coming out, y'all, and what appears to be a wannabe Archie Waters. And obviously, we could tell that's a knockoff. I was like, okay, that ain't the real Archie Waters, because he's definitely more bigger and more lethal looking than how he was looking in that scene right there. So, nonetheless, Tabby finds herself being filmed live and everything, and at the crosshairs of Bloody Rose and Archie Waters and proxies of Bloody Rose, like the cult followers. There's like 2-3 of them guarding the exit, so she's looking like, oh shit, I gotta find an escape. But then the girls are watching horrified in a theater and let's wait to see what the hell is going on. And y'all, as this being live streamed, we then start to learn the identities of Bloody Rose and this wannabe Archiekins. So, as she asks, okay, who the hell y'all are? Y'all, why the hell Bloody Rose is revealed to be none other than delusional ass Mrs. Langsbury. I was like, I knew it. She was definitely on my suspect list. She was definitely on my, because she had the most motive to target Tabby. I mean, like, this is obviously Tabby's ultimate final girl test, so what motive will be better than the mother of the son that harmed her in the previous season? Makes total sense for why she want to get her revenge or whatever, her delusional ass perspective. And y'all, I was really gagged when we see who pull off the wannabe Archiekins mask, and it's none other than Wes's pathetic ass. I was like, okay, I thought your subtly racist ass was leaving town and going to live with a friend in LA. Like, what the hell are you doing here filming and everything? Now, he goes into this insane ass monologue on how he wants to make the most immersive horror movie and how hard it is for... He's still going on his tangent about how hard it is for white guys to break into the industry as filmmakers and everything. I'm looking like, boy, shut up, you're practically a broken record at this point. Like, please stop the cab. And he continues his tangent and refers to Tabby as his, like, Laurie Strode, Sally Hardesty, and how she's the new age final girl given she's black and everything. I'm like, really? But y'all, this whole review had me wrong, because I'm like, what? Make it make sense. Please make it make sense. And since he gave her the title Ultimate Final Girl, he wants her to choose to confess her sins about, you know, lying about what allegedly Clip Chip did to her, since he obviously took Mrs. Langsbury delusional ass side and was her shoulder to cry on, y'all. And that's her test, basically, to confess a lie. And y'all know damn well Tabby ain't going for that. And the girls are watching this in horror like, I know that ain't who the hell I think it is, Mrs. Langsbury and Wes. They was like, oh no, we gotta go to our girl. But then y'all, these motherfuckers thought about everything, like, as the girls was gonna go save Tabby from her ordeal, the Bloody Rose cult posted outside the theater ready to attack them and, like, you know, bring harm to them. And then they barged into the exits and everything. And y'all, my anxiety was just, like, so high during this whole scene. I was like, okay, come on, like, y'all really gonna have Tabby outnumbered like this and everything? And then the girls like, okay, we gotta get to her and everything. And Christian tell them about a secret exit so they could get out and make it to a car and go to Tabby's aid. And luckily, they all find a car, and then Noah, as just in the middle of this damn dire situation, calls Jen like, okay, you need to teach us how to hotwire a car. Can you do it? And then Jen luckily has knowledge on the subject and informs them how to hotwire the damn car, so they go to Tabby's aid. As Tabby tries to find a way to escape, Wes constantly taunts her like, yeah, you need to confess, or, you know, something's gonna happen to your mom. Then Tabby turns around and sees her mom being watched by 7 of Wes's proxies to, you know, get wait for his order to harm her and everything. And she's like, if you touch her, I will literally fucking kill you. Like, I'm like, right, like, you are insane. And for you to pitch this whole immersive horror movie idea of saying, like, a good horror movie is showing actual unaliving on a camera in real time and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, you completely lost. I'm like, yeah, you definitely took a note out of Billy Loomis's book, and it's not looking too well for you, Wes. And then Tabby's just like, you know what, I'm not confessing shit, and we finna just have to fight. And then she gagged me when she turned around and jumps out the church window. Like, so I was like, I know that's right. Dude, the pool is Sally Hardesty, and Wes dumbass gave her the idea. I was like, you should never give her that Sally Hardesty Easter egg, because we all know a final girl is going to always find some little slither of an exit to escape. Like, we should all know this. And then his dumbass was like, oh, I was hoping she would do this. And then he sticks his, like, 3 proxies onto Tabby in the woods as Tabby tries to run away in the woods. And then he quickly tells Mrs. Langsbury, noodleback ass, oh, stay here, and then I'll go get the sacrifice and everything. I'm like, boy, who do you think you are? I'm like, he is so pathetic. Just completely and utterly useless. I'm like, hey, all he doing is just hold the camera, y'all. I'm like, boy, go to jail. Under the jail. Tabby's, like, hiding. She's using the trees as cover as she takes down each of Wes's proxies one by one with her kick-ass resilience. And I just love how she uses their weapons against them, and all that self-defense class knowledge is really paying off, because it's just like motor memory at this point. She's just kicking every last one of their asses. I was like, I know that's right, Tabby. Hey, y'all, like, she ducked this one crowbar one and then just clocked his ass with it. I was like, yeah, like a baseball. Well, you just swinging like a baseball bagger. I was so satisfied. I was like, so happy for her. And as she takes them down one by one, and y'all, the commentary from them was just something. It was like, where the hell is this crazy bitch? Oh yeah, y'all gonna see crazy. And then Wes quickly kind of comes, like, nears them, and then she quickly runs to Rose's cabin. And she notices that he's purposely trying to lure her into a trap. And then she quickly opens the door of the cabin to make it seem like she ran in, creating a diversion, that she runs to the side of the cabin. And then he quickly catches up, but he didn't see her run to the side, thankfully. And he's like, oh, Tabby, running inside, perfect and everything. I was like, this delusional ass psycho. Like, what is going on? Then we see her eyeing a pitchfork, knowingly. Then we jump to girls finally arriving at the church to save Tabby. And they investigate her whereabouts. Like, okay, where the hell is she at? It's being filmed live here, ain't it? And they looking around, and they get jump scared by Mrs. Langsbury as Bloody Rose charging them. And Farron just swift kicks her dead in her face. I was like, y'all, she had that coming all season. I was like, I know that's right. Well, okay, she just looked at the girl. I was like, okay, let's get that loud. I was like, damn, Bloody Rose, you gonna get back up? Miss Langsbury, you still there? You ain't gonna get up, woman? So, as she ended her in one kick, y'all, the girls quickly exit the church and continue their search for Tabby. We then see Tabby confronting Wes in Rose's cabin as she scolds him for thinking she's gullible enough to fall for such a trite trick as this. Like, you really thought she was gonna fall for obviously go into the killer's lair to fend off the killer? Like, no, like, you're stupid. And then he continues to taunt her, like, you're never gonna get away with this, you're never gonna make it out alive and everything. And she's like, yeah. And he says the most famous last words, y'all, man. Like, you don't have the guts. And then she just firmly grips that pitchfork and rams it dead into his chest. And then she stumbles out. Sky changes color to the next morning, and the girls follow the trail where Tabby is at the cabin, and they find Tabby catching her breath on a tree trunk, and they're like, yo, are you good and everything? Where's Wes? And then she's like, he's in there. And then the girls quickly go investigate the cabin and notices Wes, like, mounted to the wall with the pitchfork embedded into his chest. And then as they go check his living status, he jumps up and grunts, and then Imogen rewards him with a right hook across his cheek, knocking him out. I was like, well, he's definitely not getting back up after that. So as they catch their breaths from that, they hear whimpering and crying in the cabin, and they looking around all ambivalently, okay, like, where the hell is that coming from? Then they find a little nook and cranny closet in a corner, and then notice that Dr. Sullivan herself is tied up, writhing in pain, like, get me out of here and everything. And I can't believe Wes crazy ass built that cabin and put them through all this hell. I was like, I thought you were gonna be one of the good ones, but then I should have known something was up. Well, he even pitched the idea to clip Chip, and you were sympathizing with Mrs. Langsbury in the beginning of the season. So I'm like, maybe you should take it easy on her. Like, I should have known something was up with his Looney Tune ass. 2 weeks pass, y'all, and the girls retake their exams, and then they have another session with Dr. Sullivan, and they're feeling somewhat at peace since they don't know the results of their test and whether they're going to be juniors or not. And then she tells them, just take it easy. You all got this. Whether you say a sophomore or become a junior, like, you all have the ability to survive and continue to survive. And I'm proud of you all. And I guess they all break the bread and bury the hatchet. And later in the day, the girls are cheering in excitement as we see them passing their exam, so get to move on to junior year. And that was so nice to see. It was like, I thought all the hell they went through, y'all better have let them pass. Like, make it make sense. We then see the girls celebrating at the parlor with Kelly, and as they all flash their FGE tattoos, which stands for Final Girl Energy. So they vow to always stick together and don't let anything else come in between them. Then we see later Tabby and Imogen have a little heart-to-heart in her room about, making her movie and how their summer flings play out. And we get to learn that Johnny made it out the freezer thanks to Kelly releasing him from it. And that Christian was able to live to see the next day since he was able to hold off the crazies as he kept the door held shut and called the police. On the other hand, poor Christian, he was just going through it. I'm so glad to see he didn't turn out to be a psycho, because he was a good ass red herring. I gotta give it to the writers, y'all. Y'all really did that. Y'all are some exceptional writers. Y'all really had me on the edge of my seat this whole season, and I'm grateful. I'm just so grateful for this exceptional writing. Like, keep up the amazing work. Tabby just declares that she's gonna make a new movie displaying the girls as badasses. And we all saw them get their Final Girl Energy tattoo, so we know what that means as we see a flash of them wearing Purge-like masks and walking down the hallway with knives. We then see Dr. Sullivan back in her office as the episode nears its end, talking on the phone, still not learning her lesson about, using the girls' stories, the girls from the predecessor stories, and the new girl stories to make a profit. And as she tells the guy on the phone, I guess an agent, that, oh, these girls are narcissists, they're gonna eat this up. We then hear a sudden bang on her door, and it scares her, and she quickly hangs up the phone, thinking she's gonna get exposed with her shiesty-ass plan. And then, y'all, guess what the hell we see? I was like, Archie Kent himself. It was like, that's officially Archie Kent. So I was like, y'all, he faked his death. That's what he did. And then he came in there, and then she's like, please, before you finish me off, did you bop my son Sebastian? And then obviously he doesn't answer, because we know Archie Kent is just like straight to the business now. He all about clipping and filleting. And y'all, he just fillets Dr. Sullivan, didn't even answer a question, and thus brings us to the close of summer school, y'all. Y'all, this season was just an emotional roller coaster, and I was just living for it. I definitely ranked the season 10 out of 10, and I gotta give it to the creators and the casting directors. Y'all definitely understand diversity, equity, and inclusion, doing that authentically, especially with this cast. Like, this is how y'all cast for a modern day slasher, and I'm so satisfied to live in an era where I get to witness such perfection. Like, don't ever feel like y'all are down and y'all doing the wrong thing with this show, especially with the writing. Y'all are writing authentic characters, and each episode had me on the edge of my seat. First season and second season, 10 out of 10. I'm seated all the time. And I just want to applaud the cast, the girls. No one can play those roles besides you girls. Like, don't ever think the role wasn't meant for you, because it definitely was. Like, I couldn't see the girls being casted by anyone else, to be honest. And it's just nice how y'all bring these characters alive, and I'm glad to see, you know, the creators value in such a diverse and inclusive cast and telling stories authentically and accurately depicting how Gen Z speaks. So, also, y'all tell me what y'all theories on what season 3 is going to be, because we know that the creators love to leave little Easter eggs with all those slasher posters and everything, and we've seen a few Scream posters and Nightmare on Elm Street posters, and I Know What You Did Last Summer posters. Now, y'all, my family's theory is that it's going to be heavily Scream 3 coded. Like, we already seen the girls in the mask, and those could have been the OG girls in terms of Imogen, Tabby, Farron, and Owen and Mouse, but in mask. But those could also be like actresses playing them. Like, think of Scream 3 when Roman was assembling Stab 3 and everything, and then the cast was getting killed off. Like, I wonder if we're gonna have a Scream 3-esque season. That would really be amazing. I know the writers could definitely pull it off after this fantastic finale. So, y'all give me y'all theories, because I could definitely see that being played out. Y'all, ooh, that would be PTV right there. But I just want to continue to applaud everyone involved with the show. Like, continue doing your amazing work, and don't ever feel like you're doing anything wrong, because you're not. And like I said, y'all casting authentically, telling stories authentically, and it's a nice change to see. And this is definitely what us modern slasher fans been wanting. So, yeah, I really enjoy this show, y'all. And if y'all not watching Summer School, y'all definitely need to check it out on HBO Max. Seasons 1 and 2 are officially up. And I'll definitely be sat for seasons 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever seasons amounts are coming. So, in the meantime, I'm Treacherous Slayer, and y'all need to stay tuned for more content on my channel. And thanks for all the love y'all been giving my channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because y'all definitely been showing me a lot of love, and I truly appreciate it. So please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. And in the meantime, y'all,